This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to A View of Humanity, and your host, Jamie Clark. Jamie discovered that he had the gift of psychic intuition and could also communicate messages and feelings between people living and those who have left this physical plane of existence. In other words, he can communicate with those who have loved and lost. Now, with thousands of powerful connections made worldwide and years of experience as his guide, Jamie offers this healing phenomenon to those who need it most. People searching for life, direction, guidance, as well as those seeking answers and closure from family and friends that have passed. Let me pass this on to you in his words, how Jamie's mediumship works. Triangulation of communication. Each of us is like a radio tuner, just like you're listening to right now. We have the ability to tune into many different channels. Before Jamie reads someone, he tunes into their loved one's channel and sends out an invitation of communication with you. Our souls are like fingerprints in a way that each of us is unique. Our loved ones know our soul print. And by my invitation, Jamie's invitation, and their realization, they now create a triangle of communication. Me or Jamie to them to you, and you to Jamie. They know that Jamie is on and are receptive and will sometimes come early to understand his rules and regulations and how most effectively to communicate. Now that we are all on the same channel, we work together as a team. A word from Jamie. Basically, everything has an energy signature. At a subatomic level, everything is vibrating at its own rate. He's developed the ability to understand the language of energy and interpret it for you. Life is a pure energy, and all is connected in some way. Your thoughts are what create your reality around you. By what you think about and how you perceive your reality, that is what you will attract in your life. Life doesn't happen to us. It happens because of us. Your host, may I introduce Mr. Jamie Clark. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ow!
Ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. Voice of God.
Oh, yes. No, that's another one.
Hey, it's
Right.
always great to be here. And in doing this, today we want to kind of get into, one, of course, readings, but two, a little bit of the Christ consciousness and kind of what that might mean and some different avenues about that. If you guys are open with that. Maggie's got a lot of insight in connections with that Christ consciousness with the tarot cards. So it's always very interesting to see how effective she is, because she is very accurate. But in addition, the ability to work with that Christ consciousness, in this case, connected to the cards, might also help amplify some of the information. Possibly.
Well, there you go. And even with the snow and cold and the whole nine yards, we were just to get around this, the psychic feelings that are coming from the country right now are the most intense since 9/11. They're that huge.
And
I
that
mean,
uncertain.
look, everybody's worrying. First of all, they're freezing to death. They got no fuel. They got no electric or
Wow.
anything else. Now you got well. Let me see. If you have 3 inches, I'll give you a good one because I did some math. If you got 3 inches of snow, and it's on a roof that's not built for snow, at least a lot of snow, right? Do you know that's 6,000 pounds?
Wow.
And they're
No wonder
wondering,
why they're all at an arc.
yeah, well, yeah, if it doesn't go whoop, you're fit. And not only that, but when you don't have heat, the snow stays there. If you
Yeah.
do have heat and you don't have good insulation or something, the snow slides and it finally, melts and goes off. But I'm telling you, this country, everybody's yelling, climate this, climate that, warming, and all kinds of stuff. This winter, I mean, like I have relatives in New York State. They're freezing to death since November.
Well, it is really cold here. I think it's like 30 degrees below 100.
I think today it's almost 40 below 100.
Yeah. We're getting
Yeah, I mean,
spoiled out here, man.
yesterday it was 86 here, so I mean, I'm definitely not freezing to death.
Well, and you guys have a lot of humidity over there too, don't you? Or are you far enough away?
Yeah, I see. If you look at the map, we're dead center. We're right in between Cape Canaveral and Tampa, or let me see, with a race Daytona Beach. I
Okay.
mean, like almost straight across as you go. So we are like, by the time like all the humidity and everything else comes off the wood, well, we got ocean on both sides. So by the time that gets here, it's not really that bad. I mean, we don't have low areas or anything like that. We're more or less a little bit more up in the air than the rest of the air is around us.
Aren't you connected? Is there water around you? I don't know
Oh,
if you were
dude,
saying the
that's why they
swamp
call
or
yeah,
something right by you.
that's why they call it Lakeland.
Ah, got it.
Lakeland. I mean, it's like I could walk down the block that way or the other way or the other way or the other way, and I will find water.
That's beautiful.
you know,
Very fortunate.
yeah, it boats all over the place. So, I gave up mine in South Carolina because I didn't want to bring it all the way down here.
Thank you.
And probably by the summertime, and that I'm looking for something, a little something just to putter around a little bit. I was
Mhm.
thinking about one of those runabout things.
What is that?
What do we call 'em? Water runners.
Oh, interesting.
The ones a single guy can sit on, or two people can sit on and just go zing.
That's cool.
That would be so cool. I mean, we got alligators around here, and if I want to get one quick, woo. Oh yeah, I mean, I tease you all the time with that with the scorpions, but I mean, we got
Uh-huh.
alligators. There was one that was I think it was 11 feet or 10 feet that was walking across a golf course.
Wow.
See, down here is more or less like South Carolina is to churches. This area is to golf courses, like South Carolina is to churches. In South Carolina, you can find a church on every corner. Over here, you can find a golf course in every town.
And a lot of praying on that golf course.
You want to keep these people. I swear to God, I saw a woman the other day. God bless her soul. She's got to be 90, 91 years old. At least little, 4'8", little. I mean, the club is bigger than she is, but she like picks this thing up and goes whack, and the ball goes choo, off the thing. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God!"
Ain't
I
nothing
mean,
but a number.
I told you what happened last time I went. Golfing. The one that didn't throw me in jail. I mean, I hit the thing and it went. Pew! It almost killed two people in the next hole.
We're going to bring you into the government, man.
I'm serious. I mean, it was unbelievable. But meanwhile, and that we got some. It's not. Let's put it this way. I mean, I would consider it serious, but not serious. I think it's light talk that we're going to do that everyone should make themselves aware of and practice. And
I
that's
said we
usually things
can.
that aren't heavy. You know what I mean? You don't practice that are heavy. Now you practice things like when I go out with a dog and I do my thoughts and my own mantra is out there, somewhere.
Right. That's the
It's like,
point.
yeah, if you're gonna find yourself in that, take a walk, man. It's nice. You forget this thing and with the masks and everything else. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the only thing that's gonna come up to me is a black cat, maybe.
Yeah. 3 o'clock. Lordy. Remember
Yeah,
those days.
yeah, or a frog. That's
Yeah.
or a rabbit. That's happened a couple of times.
So let's see if we can talk with Amanda.
Yeah, she's down there. All right,
She's been
Amanda,
very patient.
take it off mute.
Thank you.
She's such a good girl.
Yeah. So what's up, Amanda? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. You got
Okay.
it. So what's going on?
Not much. Not much. Just we're here in Arizona too, and I'm sitting in the backyard.
Yeah, is it gorgeous or what? Nice wind,
Yeah.
beautiful
Yes.
sunny day, man.
Yes,
spoiled.
absolutely.
If you can make it
Yes.
4 months of spa treatment, 120 degrees, you're good.
Uh-huh.
Get it? Good
This
one.
is our reward. This
Yeah.
is our reward. Yes.
So you got a question? Anything we can target?
So my daughter Sarah, she's had a hard time with school and everything being shut down. I just kind of want to know if we have her on the right track and how she's she tells us she's doing a lot better, but I kind of want to see if we can get a little bit more insight about how she's doing.
And I feel like also Sarah's an old soul.
She very much
So
is.
she's got that strong vibe of being ahead of the game. And so in doing that, sometimes you're coming from a more refined perspective, which I feel like is along the lines of what she's doing. So there'll be a lot of sensitivity as well.
Mhm.
And so in that capacity, I do, and I'm not a doctor, cannot diagnose for nothing for nobody never.
Absolutely.
But her energy does feel like it's starting to get a little smoother. Okay. Because in doing this, she's sincere, but I also feel like her strength is that she just needed to make that choice and then kind of go with it. And I
Okay.
do feel like it's productive. Now, excuse me, in addition, if you're interested, without saying anything to your daughter, what I would love for you to think about doing, at least a few minutes a day, see and feel her already successful, already doing amazing with the school,
Okay.
and then be
Okay.
open. By not saying anything, it keeps it a clean one to go, she started talking more about this and that, and I didn't have to say anything. But
Okay.
that vibe of connection will be very strong. And especially with mom and child, that's a really good synergy. And you're very
Absolutely.
intuitive yourself, too. That's really cool. And that don't fall too far from the tree.
No. Yeah, you've said that about Sarah before, that she's very, like, she can feel other people's emotions.
Yes.
So yeah,
But that's good.
yeah.
Because, right. And even though at a young age, when you can feel where they're at, that
Mhm.
becomes a lot more effective, that you understand where they're at so that you can talk with them, not just
Mhm.
to them. And that's
So-
what I feel like she's got, a natural
Yeah.
ability.
True. She also, when she like lays her head on me or whatever, I can feel her vibrating. And what is that about?
That's an amplified vibration. Everything vibrates. It has its own unique signature. So now you're seeing, go, that's kind of weird because she's just laying her head on me, yet my whole body's vibing. Yeah, huh? What
Okay.
if that energy vibe is also transferring to you as well?
Okay.
And
It feels
now,
like it.
yeah, well, it is, because it's that kind of connection that you'll be more amped up. Things will drop into your mind a little bit more clearly, and you'll be like, that's kind of cool in a weird way. Yeah,
Mhm.
but your daughter's also the same. I feel like very practical questions, but also once she's solid, she'll go with it. And that's
Okay.
where I feel like things are going along in a very good way.
Also, mentally, you see that you said she's mellowing out or coming or better in the mental state.
Yes, ma'am. Because
Okay.
we can all be our own worst enemy. But
Yes.
also, when mama or others can let us know that it's okay to be who I am
Mhm.
and I can do the best that I can, okay. Then we
Yeah.
kind of open up and relax into being ourselves. And I always say, the way you're going to stand out in life, just do you. The uniqueness of your soulprint, who you are, and the passion that you have for whatever it is that you do, that is what speaks to people. I would
Gotcha.
say
Yeah,
this
it's
is,
been a journey.
yeah. And the great thing
Yeah.
is, you're very much aware of it. What I would love you to think about doing in addition, journal these experiences.
Okay.
just a quick date, time, and an experience so that you can write it down so that as things are happening, you've got a solid thing to go, it's been written down. Here's the date, instead of, yeah, I saw it all the time, and you have nothing to refer to. No easy cheesies.
Yeah. Didn't have to experience this with my other daughters, but she definitely took it hard with school shutting down and everything shutting down. So that's where her mental state started to decline really bad. So we took her to the doctor and took her, she sees a therapist. So she's working hand in hand with people that are, helping her. But, as a mom, I just kind of wanted to know, like, in my, like, the spiritual side of her, if she's doing, that's why I asked that question.
And she's being faced with some of that to realize herself at a young age.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay. And that old soul vibe is what helps align things more effectively. Because I always say, to me, an old soul is somebody who's been coming to this planet a lot. We are all old souls, energy. So they've scientifically validated quantum physics that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Guess what it means in a practical way? We're eternal.
Perfect. And another thing with her energy, like you feeling her energy, I think that's part of the learning process she's going through, is knowing that she has an expression. When you're at school around people, you're learning how to express yourself. With everything online, it's almost like they don't know how to have an expression. That's one of the learning keys for her. And I feel like she's on the other end, the other side, not the hard side, but the learning curve side. And just like Jamie had said, she's made the choice, she's made the acceptance, and that's going to allow her to feel like she can express more. Plus, now you're feeling her energy signature, her vibration. And old souls have a really intense energy. And so we want to encourage it. Right? We want to encourage healthy intensity.
Yeah.
So she doesn't feel like she needs to shut down, when things shift and change. Yeah. And it's not that she's a slow learner, but she does so much with her energy of expressing without even realizing what she's doing. So that's what she's relearning. She's relearning how to have herself and feel powerful and expressive in that type of format. Anytime you can encourage her creativity, it will help with this process, whatever that creativity is.
I think that's why she's gone back to drawing.
Good. Excellent. It's an expression.
Yeah.
Now she can literally create her own reality, which is exactly what we do. And, as a contributing factor, I also feel like she's, in her own soul choice, going through this stuff at a young age, so that she's gone through it and can find herself within life now rather than lose herself to it. And she's got a beautiful home, a mama who cares, who wants the best for her. But as you know, like I do, we can't do it for them. We will do it with them. Yeah. And
how hard I try.
Yeah, I bet.
But the energy is super productive right now. So.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel a little more at peace with her.
Yes, ma'am. Good. And again, you understand some more of what's going on. And so you're able to relax a little bit more too. Yeah. She'll feel that vibe because, kids always want to help the parents. They always want to appease the parents and do good. But in this, she's such a solid, strong person, is a good thing, that if she's connected with other people, she means it. She's got that compassion. I feel like it doesn't take crap, but as a real compassion for people, which is great. For me, I always say, never mistake love and compassion for weakness. It's the complete opposite.
Gotcha. All right. Perfect. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep going, kiddo.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Bobby.
Yes.
I can't see your big head.
I know.
We're family. We can talk about it.
I'm serious. He's a brother from another mother.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah, we've been working together.
That was his saying. I just used it back on him.
We have any others?
Here, no big deal.
Okay. So if you're okay, let's get into a little bit of the tarot and your awareness of the Christ consciousness within it. Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting. I've been doing a lot of thinking about some planetary alignments that are happening right now, coupled with the expansion of consciousness that all of humanity is going through. But I really feel that Christ consciousness right now expanding more. And it's the consciousness of love. It's the consciousness of being a good person, like everything that he stood for, all of his teachings. I was doing a lot of pondering about this, and kind of, it's one thing that I've always looked at in the tarot and not I haven't always found ways to communicate that Christ consciousness through these cards. And so I've picked apart a couple of cards that really, really amplify Christ consciousness. The first card would be the Chariot. In the Chariot card, you have a charioteer. He is sitting in this beautiful vehicle, being driven by the white and the black Sphinx, or a white and a black horse, which represents the unity of yin and yang. Male, female, the energies of the universe coming together, working together in unison so this vehicle can go forward. And this is the first card where consciousness is directed to a higher level. And we call it either the higher self. But this is what introduces a Christ consciousness, that we can be guided, that we can trust in God, have faith in a higher power beyond just the ego, beyond just the little people that we are, and it helps us learn how to move forward in a sense of greatness and a sense of accomplishment. And so that was the one card that I thought was a really prevalent card for Christ consciousness. And then the next card I really wanted to talk about was Temperance, because that is when consciousness is transmutable from one form to another. So you have, again, an angel that appears in the Temperance card, and she's pouring a cup of, basically energy, right? From water to fire and fire to water. She's able to transmute the elements. And this is also what Christ consciousness is all about, is a transmutation from one level of consciousness to another. And I feel like as a planet, we're going through this transmutation. We're learning that we have the power to turn fire into water and water into fire. And that if we trust, if we have faith, if we can align ourselves with a consciousness that really feeds the part of us that's connected into that divine, whether it's Christ or a different level of consciousness that we're connected to, it allows us to move forward, and it allows us to eventually transmute our lives and create an amazing essence. And so those are the two cards I just wanted to throw in here, since that's my gig. I love the tarot. And then I also wanted to bring up the Saturn square Uranus conjunction, or aspect that is happening with the planets. And this is also going to shift the consciousness of humanity. So Saturn is that planet that wants to set rules and regulations, and Uranus is the planet that wants to break them all and be rebellious and free. And so you have these two planets coming into a square, which is going to create an intense energy. So internally, every single person on this planet is going to ask themselves, are these the rules and regs that I want to live my life by? Or do I need freedom? Do I need to break free of it? And when you think about the collective consciousness of humanity going through this specific aspect right now, wow, like we don't even know what's up or down, like what needs to break so that we can feel that freedom of consciousness and the expansion that, Uranus wants to provide for us. And so there's things happening here, and that, that conjunction is very paramount to, it could impact global events. It could impact personal life. That's happening tomorrow. And so it's going to be building a huge energy within each of us to discover, where do I need to expand? Do I need to rebel against the norm to grow? Or do I need more structure? It makes us question all of these things. So realize that a square alignment can create, it's like almost like if you have two pieces coming together at a 45-degree angle, they're going to hit. And that aspect creates an intensity of energy that we all are going to have to deal with. So, and that's going to be in Aquarius. So, and Aquarius energy is definitely the rebel, definitely the independent thinker, and definitely the innovator as well. So we're all going to be getting in touch with how we can innovate our lives and reinvent ourselves. So just be prepared, and I feel like this Christ consciousness is a way that will help align and make it an easier transition, an easier aspect for all of humanity to deal with and to process. So I just want everyone to tune into their faith, a faith in a higher power, a faith that we can that good exists in the world, and we can be living examples of that good, just as Christ did. He was an example to this world and said, hey, everything I can do, you could do better. And so here we are. We have to learn how to do that better. We have to learn how to grow and expand and still function in all of the things that we have.
And we're used to seeing JC as a human, because we need to have the comfort of a human to go, okay, now if they're doing it, then I have the potential, because that Christ consciousness is an awareness. We just needed to associate it with, in this case, a human. And, I used to think Jesus Christ, like his last name was Christ. I'm like, no, apparently it's Joshua ben Joseph, the son of Joseph kind of thing. So it's that type of an energy, that it is a permeated consciousness of energy. Now, I'm going to share something that happened a little while ago. Okay, Maggie and I were driving down the street, just driving, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, this white light completely encompasses this whole planet. And I'm like, what the flagnog? And so Chi let me know that it is a child that was recently born that has that Christ consciousness. And I'm like, holy crap. And then I said, why would that be born now as a little baby when crap's flying? And Chi's response was, well, he will be allowed to live his life without having the challenges in life experience of what he did. But that what if other beings are starting to come to this planet with the Christ consciousness? What if it's power and numbers of the unification of a world? Because our whole consciousness has been reset. And interestingly enough, I believe for at least a little while, they were not allowing people in their church to go to church. So then it became, if you can't go to a specific location, are you going to connect with where you're at? Or do we realize he's not only locked in to just a place, it is everything? Because I was asking, Chi, I'm like, it didn't make sense. But with the amplified energy, and it's equal, it's an energy, that's it. So it's that consciousness that, JC, I'll be back. Exactly. He didn't say how he would be a newborn, right? Aren't we born again? He didn't specify in what way we're born again. Now, to my awareness, because Chi let me know, it's not like Jesus is only in a baby. We're multidimensional beings. But I also equate it like, if you really think that there's only one Jesus that goes around to people when more than one person calls on him at the same time, because I'm willing to bet there's more than one person on this planet connecting. He's not doing this. Got a gunshot, got to go. Yeah, right. He comes to all alike. And exactly like Mag was saying, hey, what I do, you can do, and even more, will you allow yourself to do it? So, a couple of thousand years, it takes us a while to get a little bit of intelligence and knowledge to start manifesting the miracles of what he was doing back then to the miracles of what we're doing now with the technology.
I got a question though. Well, I'm going to stop you there, Annette, before you go any further, Annette, because you said that the Christ was going to be born in as a child.
Well, already was. The Christ consciousness.
Okay.
That's why I was asking.
What would be the difference between that being the meaning of a human child or a walk-in?
Now that's interesting. I don't know. But apparently
because the walk-in would be the birthing of a soul to humanity.
Well, and what I've learned is walk-ins usually happen once you've already lived a little bit of the incarnation, at least a day, or at least, a moment. So, we'd consider that just an incarnation, yet a walk-in would be if that incarnation shifted, like all of a sudden a different soul wanted to come in and then take over that lifetime.
Yeah, they need, the one that's coming in has to get permission to come
Correct.
in.
Well, right.
From the soul that's already there.
Correct.
And the interesting thing is it was the child was born physically connected with this planet outside of the mother. And so for that white light to permeate the whole planet, it made sense to go, there are no favorites. It is all good. It is all love from the compassion. And within that, each person is allowed, if they even choose to work with that energy, that vibe of Christ consciousness, and possibly do even more than what he did. What if just potentially he was into a little bit of that quantum physics and knew that, we as humans in the cells, 99.99% nothing. What if he was able to unify that vibrational pattern in his consciousness with the body and, I don't know, become lighter than air and maybe, walk on water or begin to levitate like the planets in space or, something like that.
We'll go build a pyramid.
Pyramids are all around this planet.
I know.
I will guarantee you
I
they're
know.
harmonizers, they're energy facilitators.
On the network, and we've talked to most of the people that are standing next to those. And I stood next to the ones in Mexico. So, hey, in fact, I almost got arrested going up the steps, too.
Well, and can you share real quick the experience that you had with that so people can get a flavor of different experiences? If you're okay with that.
The biggest one was in the field, the playing field that they had there. But the one on the steps and everything, and that when the second you get up on the steps, you have to be. It's not on the ground. It's not 1 foot on. That you have to be on the pyramid. When you're on the pyramid, it feels like you ever get like a chill, like you say, like somebody just walked over my grave. We all get them. You get this feeling like it's like euphoric. It's like, oh wow, I mean, it's like one of those things. Well, yeah, when I was there, that's the feeling I got, and then I said, whoa, and I turned around, and who's there? 2 guards. So, I mean, I was like, if I had gotten to the top, man, I really would have had a rush. But the other place was in the same place. I mean, the same bunch of buildings is that playing field. And I was standing dead center in the middle of that playing field, and sound stopped. Movement stopped. Everything just stopped right there. I could see people. I could see them talking. They were maybe 20 yards away from me. And you can definitely, in that there's 2 stone walls that are on either side. So everything you say over here, you're going to hear it over there at the same time. So, that was just one place that you definitely know there's a God. It's one of those kind of things. Because not until I got to the end of the field, that's when I turned around to Diane and I said, you're not going to believe this. And she goes, probably not. But that's Diane. She likes to tag my shirt.
Practical. Yep.
But the idea was there is things on the planet that are going on right now every single day that we can't explain, that we'll never explain unless we know how or where they came from. And they're not of this planet. Can't be. Just can't be. People that are from that particular time in our world's history. And I looked at some of those stuff. It's like Peru. The stones and everything else that are honed together, and it's like you could stick a hair in between the little crack that's in between the stones and things. We don't have masons that can do that today. I'm serious. Why would a road fall apart? Theirs don't. They're still there. It's like, hey, what are you going to do? It's like the buildings. Maybe they don't have a roof because the roof was made out of, who knows, and it could have been palm trees or something like that. You never know. But the walls and everything else, they're all intact. It's nothing's falling apart. They had hurricanes. They have hurricanes there all the time. Nothing moves. Nothing goes anywhere. These were gods of themselves, or people or humans that were on this planet that were given or granted that God consciousness, or that feeling that they had a purpose, which people don't. I mean, how many people do you know of in that actually absolutely know they have a purpose? Not that many. No, that's yours. That's
you.
But I'm just saying. We're talking about it. I mean, you're more spiritual probably than me. But as far as, well, you never know.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, me myself. I mean, my purpose is what I'm doing, and to bring different things in front of people, and like I'm feeding people dinner. It's like people need to know. If it's that kind of a thing, I'm there, 100%. But that's my purpose. But then again, when I leave this chair, What's my purpose?
To live.
But it's a ball of things. You know what I mean? We like one of the things that I say all the time, and I tell everybody about it, is to love your neighbor, love yourself, believe yourself, say I am. I just spoke to somebody on a show net the other night. Same thing. I said, you say I am. He said, why? I said, say it. So and he said it, and I said, okay, now did you feel any different? No. I said, then call me tomorrow and tell me you didn't feel something. Next day, he called me up, believe it or not. And he says, I think you're nuts, but you know what? I really did feel something. I really felt like a calming kind of thing. I said, you see, if everyone did it and really, really, really got down and said, I am, or they admit to themselves that they love themselves as much as they love their neighbor, and then really love their neighbor. Not literally, not physically, but I mean spiritually.
Well, and that's another.
Right. If this could happen, my God, would we have a different planet or what?
That's what we're working on. Remember, in that flash of white light around this entire planet, I believe JC's, hey, I come to all alike. Hey, bip. What if he was referring to the energy consciousness of, in this case, associated with Jesus, the Christ, but that there are other beings who are now coming here to be able to make a difference to help humanity. Because just to my word, I don't know nothing for nobody, but I always share the fact that there's a big, big, big potential that ETs aren't going to save this planet. If we're doing it, we're going to have to clean up our mess, because the potential is, even though they come from love and compassion, if they were to save us as a planet, and then we grew into a bunch of planet stealers or people who go and destroy things, kind of like we do on our own planet, kind of weird. But then, can you imagine having to live with that? That would be kind of like you, Bob, being graciously, and there's this man that's starting to die on the street. You have no idea who they are, but your compassion and love is to help this person. What you didn't realize is it was Adolf Hitler. You look, well, what the flag not? Well, same thing. That's just from my awareness. They're not going to do that infusion as an outside source. So what are they going to do? Be born into human consciousness on this planet. An inside job.
Ah, okay. So they could come in as humans and slowly change it back.
Well,
absolutely. I think most old souls feel that way. They feel like, well, I'm here for a purpose, because that's the only reason I come here,
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, how old am I?
One. Boom.
I don't know. Somebody told me one time I was here 11 times.
I would say probably more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But really? Hey, God dang. But the whole thing, the whole thing is, out of all the times that you come back and forth, and that there's billions and billions and billions and billions of years, and I've already been over there to the other side and everything else. And trust me when I tell you, man, next time when I check out, I'm going to check in and stay there. I mean, it's nice over there. But still, it's one of those things that where people don't realize they don't accept who they are. They're people are supposed to be 3D. They're only 2D. I don't know why they think in 2D, not in 3D. The what if is out of their brains completely. That's the quantum definition. What if? And if you leave that in there, then you automatically get the possibilities that could be in front of you. People don't realize that they have a world in front of them. Do they use it? Probably not. And the ones that do, you got to kick them in the before you even get them to do it.
That's why I've done a lot of the scientific studies. I want to put more of the practicality to the spirituality. And in doing that, we came across a lot of information that at the moment I can't share, but it was a huge soul opener, not just an eye opener. It opened my soul to realize, there's so much more than what we perceive. Because, it's those statements and comments back then to go, hey, I'll be back, and didn't say in what way. And for that Christ consciousness to permeate the entire planet, coming to all alike, just like you're saying, it's their choice if they even want to vibe with it and use it to create another more effective, harmonious connection in life. And so many of us have been separated us because this human consciousness of the planet has been reset. It's not a country against a country. You know, I always say it's a virus against the world. Make them reactive, break them down, separate them, and then see what the pushback is. Oh, wait a minute, they're doing a few riots. Go throw a few COVIDs over there and that thing there. And it goes way beyond that. Again, you're only a conspiracy nut till it's validated. Well, you know, I don't know nothing except what I'm aware of.
What do you think about that, Maggie? I mean, I see smoke coming out of your ears. You're ready.
Oh, I just have witty comments like, yeah, you're a conspiracy nut. It's okay.
She's my beautiful wife. She accepts
Might be
me.
some truth in there.
Yep. Take some sanity to realize you're potentially insane.
You don't know enough about another person until you're married to them. And tell me, come back here. I'll see you in 10 years, and let's see how we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
These things that you're gonna discover things that you never knew before, but they just came out.
Absolutely. I learn something new about Jamie every day. And I learn something new about myself every day.
Well, sure, because it's a cohabitation thing. It's like one soul acts upon the other soul, and the other soul turns around and says, "Hi, how you doing?" The other one goes, "Oh, wow, man, well, like I hadn't seen you in a long time. Oh, about 2 million years." Cool. And you never know, because it could have been, there could have been a real soulmate thing going on here. Could have been. I mean, I don't believe that much in soulmates, but there are things like we have here, and that we never met. We were in she was in the Bronx, I was in New Jersey, and it was like just this meet online kind of thing. It was like, who are you? Blah 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 blah. It began all kinds of crazy things, and then all of a sudden one day she said to me, and the world doesn't know about this. One day she says, "Look, either you come over here and pick me up," she says, "or don't email me again." I said, "Okay." So I had to go all the way over to the Bronx and go and get her. And from that time on, we used to spend weekends together. And it was kind of cool. I mean, we had, let me see, I went through floods with her. We went through 4 feet of snow with her. I drove on highways where cars weren't moving and my car was. Serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, I had a front wheel, a front wheel drive car and I was I'm driving along and all these other guys are up walls and over walls and all kinds of things. It was kind of great.
And it's that kind of a relationship that Mag and I are going on 5 years of being together, and it keeps getting better and more connected. It's been great because, we've had a year of togetherness pretty much sequestered to home for the most part. And we're loving it. It's not like, oh, man, I've been with her a long time. It's holy crap. And we didn't have as many distractions. We got to find ourselves even more within the relationship, not lose ourselves to it. And then strong and consistent enough that she is amazing. And I wanted to spend my life with her in that connection. I'm not stupid. I would not even be with her if I didn't vibe with her.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, there are so many people that go, "Oh, well, I liked her yesterday."
See, and that happens sometimes that people will love them, but they don't like them. Like,
yeah, but they were at the bar last night. Today they woke up and went, "Oh, my God."
The old adage, God rest his soul. No, he's still alive. I just wish God would rest his soul.
This is why this is why we practice the amazing eye roll.
Yeah, she good. Around the head, man.
That'll do it. And Jamie, you also appear in a new documentary, Life to Afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so funny because I read this to somebody yesterday. Yesterday, in fact, that close.
Cool.
I said, I died. Now what? That's the thing. And this is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's on Amazon.
Excellent. Yeah, check it out. It's really cool because, it's about entertaining and information. So if it can be open up to go, oh, that's different, that's unique. And again, that's why I wanted to get more of the scientific aspect. The very scientists that, seemingly we're trying to disprove are proving it. Not only that I believe scientifically now they've connected with a fifth dimension. We've got the ability to interdimensional. Yeah, don't we? There are many more than 4 or 5 dimensions. It's infinity. Oh, yeah. So it's really cool because now scientifically they're making those connections. Now it's not just hearsay going, yeah, we're connected to the 5D. It's, holy crap, this is good. And not only that, let's see what's going to be through that doorway of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of interdimensionals. And doing the, the mediumship testings over at University of Arizona, we also realized that you can literally create a conference call between other beings. JC, there were some ETs, there were some angels, all on the same channel. Kind of interesting. Not that everything is, but they were able to go interdimensionally with whatever dimension they might have been from and unify in that conversation as a communication. And that's, just something that people can at least refer to. So you've got some kind of track record of scientific aspect, not just the verbal and it's all good. It's, if that's scientifically proven, kind of like electricity, doesn't mean they have to accept it, because there are people here on the planet do not accept that. Good. Does that work for you? Great. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. It's all one.
I have to get this conversation over to the Hope Channel.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I have some very religious people that are going to come into that channel, and I'm telling you, man, I want to, it's going to be like an earthquake, but it'll work very nicely.
Well, but another great validation, I can speak for myself, but over the past number of years, I am having so many people come to me from all these beautiful different religions, and their pain is outweighing their fear of condemnation from the big guy. And they'll be like, Jamie, I've never ever been to somebody like you, and my church doesn't look too kindly on it. And my first response is, wow, congratulations for having the guts to sit here.
Yeah.
Two, as I always say, let's just get a very basic meaning of mediumship. To me, a basic meaning is to consciously connect with a being, a spirit, an entity outside of a physical body. If that's the definition, if you talk to God, Jesus, the angels, you're doing mediumship. And I'm willing to bet with that particular style of mediumship, you're hoping and praying for life-changing miracles and instant communication. And they're like, oh. And when you can bring loved ones through that, your people, if someone's reading for you, you'll know the personalities, you'll know if they're hitting that or not. And when some Joe Schmo like me can hit all of those different things to go, holy crap, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly who they are. And I don't know you. I'm like, exactly. All I'm doing is reading your energy and the soul print of consciousness you're connected with. Psychic and mediumship are the same thing. The only difference to me is a psychic read is in the physical body, a mediumship read is out of the physical body. Both are soul prints of consciousness. That's it. Real easy. You ever wonder why they tend to say psychic medium? And the same thing? Yeah, they're the same. To me.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we have a church that's here in Lakeland where people are actually healed. Really?
Beautiful.
I mean, really. I mean, it's like one of these things that where you see the guy and I touch somebody in the head and they fall on the ground, or one of those kind of things.
Is that Jesus doing it, or is that somebody else who is able to do what Jesus did?
I brought this up. I brought this up because you were on a quest, in a sense. The Christ consciousness. Okay, so you got a kid that comes in and he's gonna do this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? Consciousness, or the consciousness, or the energy, I'll go a little further with that one, is all over this planet. It's all over the universe. Not just here. Could be in the moon. Go to the moon. Hey, go see him. But, it's one of these things where the guy that does the healing, it's through him. It's the energy through him. It's him that is allowing the energy to flow through him. He is not doing it.
And what did JC say? Same thing.
He's the conduit to the energy that enables them to do this. And I'm pretty much sure that in a sense that he's also a little off the planet, thing, and that he's out of his dimension in a sense, and that when he's doing it. So seriously speaking, I mean, the consciousness part of it that people don't understand, if that guy can touch a person and heal them, where does that come from?
And what about, I think there was a person who touched the hem of his garment and they were healed. He didn't have to physically touch them in any way at all. He knew it's all a mental connection of creation. And so he'd go, hey, bada boom, you're healed. And they're like, I'm healed. Because look at the people who are doing it now, thousands of years later, but it's being reestablished to go, hey, we're regular people like JC, but we're doing a lot of what he did. And now with the technology, we're possibly able to heal even more effectively than the average person.
Most energy healing says it comes from the source. Okay. They just call it the source. It's a source of energy. It's basically all that is. Yeah. And it is just basically available to everybody in limitless supply. You can have a ton of energy. You just have to open to it and allow. And then your body has to hold the frequency. And that's the human dynamic of energy and source energy, is that we have to hold a frequency that might be vibrating a little different and a lot higher than ours. So that's why we always say practice, 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 because the more you can allow the energy to flow through you, it will raise your own vibratory energy as well, because it'll start matching, kind of like it does for moon cycles when women live together. They start coming onto the same rhythm, the same pattern. It has the same effect. So the more source energy you allow to channel through you, the more that you sync up to that source. And some people are amazing. I mean, you have to let go of control. You have to be vulnerable. You have to open and receive that energy. And it's not the most common way to get things done in our culture. We're like doers. We're like, I got this. I can just move forward. But it's the exact opposite. We have to receive. We have to pull back. We have to allow. And the source energy is available for everybody. Limitless supply. What do you want to do? And, this is one of the reasons we have guides and angels and higher selves, to make sure that we don't, short circuit ourselves as we're opening up to source energy, that we can hold that vibration, contain it. They're the ones that, checks and balances at the gateways and the entry points, to make sure that we're not going to be bombarded by, an energy that our bodies can't contain, including, the full expanse of our soul. I feel like I don't know if there's anyone that can actually hold the whole vibration of your soul in a physical being. It doesn't fit, our bodies would just blow up, combust. Same thing with source energy. But what we can do is open and allow. And it's also a relationship with the person receiving that, and the faith that's involved with that. Because the barriers that we have in our mindset will either allow or not allow a lot of things to happen. If we can open up saying, I can be healed, I am healed, that's when the magic happens. When you pull everything into the present moment, the I am moment, and then that source energy is a part of it.
The report that's coming out, by the way, of what we're talking about, it says reports are flooding in that a healing revival is breaking out in Lakeland, Florida. That's right here. Now being dubbed the Florida Outpouring, because of the continuing manifestation of the Holy Spirit through healing and salvations and evangelist. I mean, it's this persons, whatever, are bringing that into this. I mean, you got to remember where we are. Like you mentioned, water. And we also have expanse of land and that's around us, except for now an airport that prime airports are flying into. But, you got all of those things that are going on. This is like an energy spot. I don't know whether it is or it isn't, because I haven't gone outside to really check. But, it's strange. Like when I walk with the dog or something like that, it's another ball game. It's not like I wasn't anywhere else. And let's face it, I lived up and down. I lived in every state except Alaska. And this one is just so serene. You know what I mean? It's like a place, it's a magnet for older people because that's what we want. And on the other hand, it's a place now where you can really get your thoughts together. And it's scary in a sense a lot of times, especially when it's like early in the morning, because like all this stuff just pours into your head, like somebody just opened up the top of, right in.
But Bob, look at what you're doing. You're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. No, Well, every time I walk, I get all these ideas. Yeah, huh? Isn't that psychic too? Saying it before it happens?
It happened like this morning. I already knew all about this between us. Yes, and him too. But all this stuff this morning, I knew. That's what it is. I don't ask for this in my head. I don't ask for these things to happen. Like Maggie said, you just let it in. You step back and you allow yourself to be the sponge. Like, go ahead, man, throw the water.
Right. You don't
But
try
it's
to make
you know
it.
it's
Allow it.
as crazy as that sounds, it is the truth. The same thing with Reiki in a way. I mean, that's a healing tool. A friend of ours, and that came over from England and stayed with us for a couple of weeks in New Jersey. He taught me more stuff about that. He's a master. I don't know how many times over. He gives lessons in that over in London, and it was amazing, totally amazing. I mean, and I have these rods and that I go around. A lot of people go looking for water and everything else. I go way further than water. I mean, it's
And are you finding what you're looking for?
oh man, I'm telling you, man, these things go around in circles. Yeah, like
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? A couple of copper wires on their own is going to be able to give that kind of information.
it does.
Yep.
It does.
Because now we're allowing consciousness to flow through because we're giving it power. If it does a cross, it's right here. If it does a separation, it's not there. And, whatever the parameters are. But it's also in that you're establishing that pattern. You're now expecting it because it's been a consistent pattern. So at least at the moment, you keep getting it very similar. More than likely, like you were sharing, is a lot of that happens when you're out walking the beautiful dog. Not at home or working necessarily, but in your own energy. And so now you're expecting and completely able to go, no, it almost always happens when I'm out walking. My mind's a little quiet and I just kind of amplify. So again, now it's that kind of you expect it and know that it's real. So what will keep happening? That very thing that you expect and know is real.
You got to try one of these. That we had the divine rods out, and we were talking. We were in the backyard, and then I had like a big deck and everything else in the back. My neighbor and they come over, and he was seeing me walking around, looking for water. So it's pretty funny. I mean, it was crazy. I was learning. But we said, like he's got this pain and everything else, and that, and oh boy, that was it, man. My guy was like, oh yeah, you got pain, yeah. So look at his rod. That's right, him paying too. But he got the things, and then he's going back and forth now with the rods, and the guy said, well, he says, what are you doing? You're moving those things, all by yourself? So he turns around, and he goes, no, 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 I'm not going to move them, by myself. So he takes the rod, one rod. He says, put out your hands. Puts his hands like this so that you guys can see this, right? Takes the rod, puts it in the hands. And he says he talks to his higher self and he tells them, to the right is this, to the left is this. And he's got the thing sticking straight out. And the guy said, I don't get it. He said, just hold on to it. So he's asking him questions and then about his pain, where it is, whatever it is. And this thing is going back and forth and back from one hand. He just took his two hands and put them on two sides of the things. He just went back and forth and back and forth. And he says, okay, took the thing off. And he goes, well, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. I mean, he was telling this guy what he had just by that thing going back and forth. It's amazing because we all have this. I mean, let's face it. What gave me the right to make these things move?
Yourself.
That's right. But you don't know about that until you really, really step back and let yourself bring in the information and then do something with it.
And that stepping back can sometimes give you a different perspective of how to approach things differently, which is beautiful. It's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie, you really, really hit something. I mean, if I would say, I mean, I can go out on a limb and say humanity, but that's getting a little too huge. That's like your soul blowing up. It's like, pow, see ya. It's like one of those things. But on the other hand, though, you got to put it this way: if we actually did, or everybody did, not just humanity. I mean, like everybody. I mean, you got a bunch of people over in Asia that are freaking out. You got another person over in Arabia or whatever, and they're freaking out. We got a president, which I mean, I could play dice with this guy, you know. It's like, hey, and you know, or straws. That's better. Straws, you know, pick a straw, and I'll show you who he is. But of all these things that are going on, every single person can change everything around them by allowing themselves to change. All of us are too much in
Fear.
we're how would you say it? There's so many lies that going around, and we actually believe it, which is kind of crazy because and we all turn around and we go, well, they said it's a
Well, isn't
conspiracy.
that for pretty much everything on this planet?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You just hit it on it right on the head. And we're saying we're believing conspiracies and looking right through or past the truth, the real truth. But we, what's the matter? You got an itch? You know, but on the other hand, you do have we all have the ability to find the truth, and that's
Huge.
what you two together. I mean, called you the duo. You know,
She's amazing.
unbelievable. Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's like, whoa.
Well, and you know, it's interesting, but you bring up that tool aspect of the divining rods. But in that, I was working with a person, really nice person, and we were in a location where we were targeting bodies that were buried. And, you know, for me, I am the tool in a good way. I don't use other dynamics, but I targeted where this body was buried. And then another person came through with the divining rods. And then right where I picked it up, bip, they crossed. And I'm like,
Cross.
ooh, that's impressive. I like that because it's still a way of reading energy, just in a different way. You know, and that kind of ET thing is, well, do you really think we're a bunch of pebbles that are sitting on this planet? Or do we realize we're not on this planet? And when we come here, we're now on this planet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like an extraterrestrial. And life is relative. We are ETs to everyone else. And, you know, we're living on the other side of where we come from before here. That's why there's that forgettery to give yourself the gift of living in the present. Because most people are very distracted a lot of times. And those distractions on earth are not so easy to go, yeah, I'm clear. It's you have to find your own way within this or without. Depends on what you want to do. Remember, you're allowed to do anything or nothing, and you're loved just the same.
Maggie. Wow. We will throw him with the dog or something. I don't know. the thing is, have you done any readings that actually have to do with anything going on now?
You mean with the collective consciousness or?
Well, you could for instance, if you were going to do, is the disease the virus going to keep on? Is it
Oh,
going to end? Are 25,000 people going to walk into your backyard tomorrow? I
it's
mean,
interesting. In most of my practice, I have stayed away from prophecies or like something predetermined. Um,
Psychic.
yeah, I've stayed away from that type of thing, and I've done readings for specific energy cycles, but not for all of humanity. You know, not for the whole world or for like situations that involve more than just one target person. So if, like, say, if you were to come to me and say, "Hey, will you do a reading? I want to know if, you know, my job is this huge company, if it's going to close." Okay, so that would be, I think, maybe the biggest group type of energy I might target. But then again, there's usually a couple people in power, right? There's a couple people that are making those decisions. It's not a collective consciousness making those decisions. So I have really actually steered clear of that, mostly because I just don't have a lot of interest in it, you know. And the nice thing is when people ask me questions, I'm like, oh, talk to him. I'll just
well, that's what I said. It's complete. What
yeah.
you
Yeah.
have there. I mean, it
Yeah.
is it is totally complete. What I would say to you is you should try one. You know,
Yeah.
pick one for yourself between the two of you.
Well,
Don't tell me.
it's interesting. I've been actually practicing more of that side of my gift. And I'll be like, we'll be driving, be like, Jamie, in February, a building's going to start going up here, you know, or something's moving in here, like something's going to happen. And sure enough, boom, it happened. So I'm actually doing more of that practice of like, okay, I'll have the guts to say it, and just see what happens. So I think the closest I've come to that type of predictive thing would be through astrology. Even though I don't prefer predictive astrology, there are energy patterns that create energy that we have to work with, but that's not something I've really delved into greatly.
Never give it a try. It's not easy, but it's fairly easy to manipulate humanity. Here's who you're going to vote for. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, well, they were saying on the radio and that the other day, one of the guys I listen to all the time is conservative. I mean, he's what it is what it is. One of those kind of persons. And he said, look, there's people that vote on a party. They don't care who's in the party or who's running or anything about it. I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat or I'm a this or that or the other thing. And they will vote for that party, not the person, but for the party. So even if they don't like the Democrats that are on the card, even if they didn't personally like those people, they will vote, for the party. And that's just, that's like people with like, I don't know, that's the 2D people. The what if is not there because somebody on some news thing and that told them there is no what if. It is.
And now, what do you accept as a truth?
Exactly. So what I was just saying to Maggie was there are things that are too much truth. The kind of stuff in that you don't want to tell somebody. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you get to those kind of things. There are things that are going to come up in our future. One thing I'm getting a gut feeling out, and I'll write you and I'll tell you what it is. But there's something coming right now. I mean, it's mounting. It's definitely going there. It's like the pre 9/11 kind of deal, and it is coming, but only because somebody's pushing too much from one end, and the other side is turning, saying, "Hey, I like freedom. I like being myself. I like loving myself. I like being I am." And somebody's telling them, "No, you're not." Ooh, oh boy, I tell you, that's not gonna do too well.
Well, not easy, but a lot of us will accept the criticism of others. And when you do that, what you're really saying is you value the other person's perspective of you more than your own.
That's it.
Or you choose to practice forgettery. And you could be super detached.
That could probably do it. Now, what are you guys doing? What kind of things are you going to be into? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Oh my
and
gosh,
when is the book coming out?
Yes.
We
book
got
2.
Roko and The Adventures of Roko and Tuki, The Kids from Mars, Book 2. We are actually going to try to get this out by the end of February, if not middle of March.
And we'll also be doing audiobooks.
Yep. We're getting ready to start recording the audiobooks. We have season 3 of the Psychic Evolution podcast out right now. So that's just going to be a roll through. And gosh, we have a couple other books we're editing, but we're not even going to touch on those
we have
till later.
A number of other children's books with the subjects that we can get into as well. And, it's that kind of interesting, but, my mom and I wrote these adventures 30 years ago. And kind of coincidental that the very year that there's been a lot more UFOs and stuff that's been in the sky, we're opening up in the children's book. Same year. Kind of weird. 30 years. Kind of lucky. There's no luck. What if just potentially it's an alignment that we might have an idea of what's going on, at least a little bit.
The thing that scares me is the kids that have been home for a year, and that there are so many things that are going wrong, and there's nothing that's going right. I don't know whether you guys are reading or looking at or doing the research.
I'm in my own little world.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
Well, keeps
me clear.
Don't worry about it. You're on the same stand as I am. You're just on a different level.
Yeah.
And they're not playing football anymore. They're not allowed. But the thing is, the kids that are enjoying their education less. And that is something that when I went to school, oh man, it was like, hey, Give me the books. Give me the books. You know, although I hated math. I actually failed algebra 1 twice. Right.
That's
But then
consistent.
you go on to geometry and all this kind of stuff and higher scientific, well, what's it, math? I could do it. I could do it under the table and not even look at the numbers. I mean, it was like one of those kind of things. That's just, what came out of my head. I was just a weird kid.
See how those numbers can add up? You ever
Add up?
question? Yeah, you ever question
Yeah.
why all these scientists who discover all these things discover it in letters and numbers? What if there's validation that each number has its own vibratory rate of information and it doesn't change? You don't wear it out any more than you can wear out, a $5 bill, or yes, you can with that. But it is the consciousness. I was playing with you on the $5 bill because, of course, that stuff deteriorates, man, after all of that. But in addition, for us to come together the best that we can when most of the planet has been separated is huge, because not only are they having to deal with not a lot of people physically around, but a number of people, like I shared, were not able to go to church. So they had to find their own connection in some way, or they were tethering away. And so I've seen a lot of people, just my own awareness, that found that connection outside of the beautiful church, because they're great. Whatever road works for you, it's all one. But it's that kind of a connection to where they're opening up to life again in a way that has been neutralized for most people. And a lot of people are being activated to go, oh, okay, I found myself. Now, what am I supposed to do? Because I have a lot of people who come to me that some are very successful. They work with billion-dollar companies and all that. But they're also going, Jim, no, I'm very successful with that, but I feel like there's more I want to do. Yep. Even with all the abundance they have and that kind of stringent, they know there's more to life than that they can share, they can express. Not just ability to make money, but whatever it is, share that talent.
Oh, cool. You could be seen anywhere? At any events?
At the moment, we're just having fun online. So I do presentations and a lot of readings online, which has been great.
Actually, we do have an event we'll be at the end of March in Sedona. So we don't have all the promotional materials for that yet, but once we do, we'll kick it out. And I'll be at an event in Sedona in June, which is called the Essence of a Wild Woman Retreat. It's pretty cool. It's
Okey-dokey.
I know, 5-day, 4-night, like pull out that inner wild woman. It should be a lot of fun.
What's the address? I'll be there.
But see, the great thing is there are so many ways to enjoy your connection.
It's true.
Yeah. And so, with the unification, because for women, they've been suppressed for so long. Yep. Now they're really like, right, we're all equal. It's just a physical vehicle. But not only that, they're coming to life and team working. They're bringing themselves that kind of communication, that they're not having to do everything alone. There's actually other people wanting to find themselves within life too.
Now
So it's retreats that really are cool.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. Lots of luck on that one.
She'll do great.
If she comes home still Maggie, I mean, you'll know, like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's Maggie revised edition.
Yeah, she doesn't come home with a big knife going.
I'm lucky. I call her Saint Maggie. She puts up with me. Saint.
That'll work. Where can I get in touch with you guys?
All right. So for Jamie Clark, www.jamieclark.net. And that's JMIECLARK.net. And for myself, it's www.tarotevolution.net. And if you're interested in hearing more about the podcast, that's at psychicevolution.net.
Plus, every second Monday of the month, we have training for people. Complimentary. It's free. They just need to get to us to get the link on there. And then we give tools and techniques, different information, things that we want to help people out to help themselves. And they don't have to pay anything. Their investment is their time.
That's on Zoom?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right, you guys are using Zoom on that one. Okay.
Yeah. It's really good because, you can bring in so many people on one presentation. And depending on
but it's not 40 minutes.
No,
it's an hour.
You got the other one. You got the pro.
Yeah. I'm not chancing that.
Well, no, don't. Meanwhile, whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jamie Clark and Maggie Clark. The most unbelievable duo you'll ever listen to. Now, these shows are here every other Tuesday. You have to be here. Just write to, now I'm going to give you an address, pyramid1radio@aol.com. Write to me. I'll send you the link. You come in. I'll send you the telephone number. You come in. You can speak to them person to person. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.